What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Today's Road to Glory was recorded or played on live stream, so if you guys tuned into the stream, thank you for showing up. But because of that, it means there is no game sound, because otherwise you hear music and subscriber sounds and me just talking generally in the stream with no context. And that doesn't work for YouTube, unfortunately. So we've got some copyright-free music in today's video rather than game sounds. I do prefer game sounds. You know, we don't do the streaming stuff often. I only stream like once a week or once a fortnight. So it's not the end of the world. Now, of course, lots of stuff has gone on over the last few days in FIFA specifically to do with the Road to Glory and to do with, not the Road to Glory, sorry, to do with FUT Champs. And there was a lot of discussion about a lot of things, and there's a lot of answers already, a lot of questions that have been answered. But also, rewards were out, and I claimed my rewards, and I really wanted to save my rewards until the Wednesday coming for a new team of the week. But I was peer pressured and bullied into opening them throughout the stream. So I opened my rewards. I did save one premium team of the week pack. But I opened one premium team of the week pack, which is right at the end of the video, and I opened my 100k pack, which is somewhere in the middle of the video. We also start completing some SBCs in today's video. We do the Emmanuel Petit SBC, and we go on towards the League of Nations Hybrid SBC. I don't quite complete that one, but we do get on our ways to doing so. I started a draft. I actually started this draft during Team of the Year, and I just completely forgot to play it. So I played through this draft here in today's video, and we also go and do another qualification cup run for FUT Champs in this video. So that's what you've got to expect throughout the 35 or so minutes that we've got going on here today. Now, at the time of recording this, there has been a tournament arranged from David Myler. If you don't know who David Myler is, he's a Hull City football player, but he's also big into FIFA. He streams a lot. If I remember to put his link in the description below, I'll put it in there. And he's arranging a tournament tonight for some players. And I'm going to be playing in it. And I'm going to be using my Road to Glory team rather than my main account team. Just because my main account team, I don't actually, other than the team of the year, I don't have anything else. And you might think, well, play with the team of the year then. But I don't want to play in like competitive games with players that I'm not used to playing with. So I'm going to be playing with the Road to Glory against the players that I'll be playing against. I don't want to say much more than that, just because I don't want to ruin it if it's supposed to be like secretive or whatever. But the video will not be uploaded on this channel. I'm going to be uploading it to my main channel. So if you do want to see how the Road to Glory team performs in a proper competitive tournament, you'll have to check out my main channel tomorrow or the day after. I'll let you know in a video when that goes live. With that being said, guys, a whole bunch of questions picked up from the last video. And we're going to start with Tarandeep. Big fan of you, Tarandeep. I see the same people get the popular comments all the time. And Tarandeep is one of those. And he says, "Hi Nep, I play on my account and I get 23 wins roughly each week. But I went on my brother's account and got him 17 wins out of his last 20, and I felt it was so much easier. We've previously finished the same roughly, so why is the matchmaking so different from one account to another? Would love to hear your opinion." And on this note, I literally think it is just random. I've spoken about it before. My worst performance was week 1, where I got 26 wins, and my best performance was 5 weeks ago where I got 34 wins. So I've always been in between the 26 and 34 win bracket. But more often than not, my actual win bracket is 28 to 32 wins. On the occasion, I'll have a little bit more than that. And on the occasion, actually only one occasion, I'll finish less than 28 wins. If we discard week 1, in fact, because that is the very first week, I had a really bad team because it was a Road to Glory. So if we just take from week 2 onwards, I've got a minimum of 28 wins and a maximum of 34 wins. So I've got a win threshold of that. And I personally believe the difference between me going 28 or 34 is literally just the luck of the draw. You can see it with Nick as well. You know, Nick has a bit of a bigger win threshold than me, where he goes down sometimes as low as like 23, I think one of his worst weeks was, and also as high as 34. And what you'll notice is, like, if I play on a specific weekend and I press A at midday, that may be me coming up against a pro, right? But if I pressed A at midday and 2 minutes, that might have been me coming up against a guy who's just not very good at FIFA. It is so random because there doesn't seem to be an actual link with matchmaking. You know, people theorized that it was via skill points and then via wins and then via the rank that you're currently sitting. So if you're in gold 2, you're only going to play against other people that are currently in gold 2. But I've messaged a lot of people, and obviously because a lot of people know who I am, I get messages after many games. And there was an occasion a few weeks ago when I was 19-1, and I came up against a guy who was 8-8, and I beat him. No, I was 18-1. Sorry, to go 19-1, I beat him, and he was 8-8. So he wasn't in the same rank as me. He didn't have near as many wins as me, and the fact that I was 18-1 and he was 8-8 would indicate that he couldn't possibly have had the same amount of skill points as me. So it genuinely seems like matchmaking is random, or at least the first search term in matchmaking isn't skill points or wins, right? So in your instance, I would say that one of the reasons why you probably felt it was easier was literally just luck. You know, you literally just got lucky against the players that you played against. For example, the weekend just gone by, well, last weekend now, because there's no FUT Champs this weekend, I only usually come out of a 40-game weekend with 3 or 4 games where I feel like, holy shit, that guy was unreal. You know, I deserve to lose that. 3 as like an average, 4 as like a maximum. And some of those games I win and some of those games I lose. I always typically lose like 5 or 8 games against people who I just don't think are very good, but it's also me not being very good that lets me down, you know. I can tell when a player's good, I can tell when a player's not good. That doesn't reflect my skill though, that reflects their skill. So if somebody's not very good, but I'm also not playing very good, they still have a chance to beat me, right? Like, you know, whether or not you know someone is good or not, you don't have to be good to know that. Same way as in real football, I know Cristiano Ronaldo is good, and I know some guy in the Ryman League who's 34 years old isn't very good because of the things that they do indicates that they are good or they are not good. I don't have to be a world class. I don't have to be as good as Ronaldo to say, oh, Ronaldo's very good at football. You know. So in terms of FIFA, I know when I come up against a good opponent, and I know when I come up against a bad opponent and let myself down to lose to them. Right. So with that in mind, I will always lose 5 to 8 games on a weekend where I feel like I should like win, and I always play 3 or 4 games on a weekend where I'm like, holy crap, that guy was incredible, and then the rest of the games are just like, that guy was decent, not bad, not good, just decent, just, you know, a typical average good, not good, but typical average FIFA player. Last weekend just gone, there was about 8 games where I was like, holy this guy is great, and it was unusual for me because I don't experience it that much. Like I say, usually it's 3 or 4 games where I'm like, oh my god, this guy is a pro, or he's a Gfinity player, or he's a top 100 player, or he's just exceptional at the game. But this weekend gone, I came up against probably 8, maybe 10 of them, right? So instead of searching when I searched for those games, if I'd searched 5 minutes later or 5 minutes earlier, there's no way I could possibly have come up against that person because they would have been in a different game somewhere else. So I think a lot of it is genuinely down to luck. The time you search, the time the opponent searches, whether or not you choose to back, like, you know, there's like a theory of karma, isn't there? Like, and we always talk about it in the chat with the boys, like, if you back out against the first person you match up against, you're going to lose the next game you play. Not because of any reason other than karma. Like, oh, you should have just played that dude. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose anyway. And the amount of times that I've actually backed out against someone and then not for any other reason than, like, you know, latency or whatever, because as you guys know, I don't back out against FUT Founders. It doesn't bother me. I actually play more FUT Founders than not. But I always feel like if you, for example, went into a game and then you backed out against that person for whatever reason, he could have been really bad. You might have got a win there, and then you might search for another game and then back out and then search for another game, and all of a sudden you find something that you're content with, and what actually happens is that guy's really good and he plays you and he smashes you. Now, you've got a loss that if you actually took the first game, you might have got a win. So I think a lot of it is very, very circumstantial. Most of it, I'd say, is circumstantial. You know, what I'm going to try and do going forwards, and I was going to try and do it this weekend here, obviously we don't have FUT Champs right now, is I'm going to try and get most of my games done by Saturday afternoon. Usually, like, I've gone through, like, ideas of, you know, let me do 10, 15, and 15 over the 3 days. Let me do none on Friday and all on Saturday and Sunday. Then I kind of started gearing towards playing most of my games Sunday because my theory was, you know, the later you get, the more panicky people get. A lot of the good players have already finished their games, could be easier wins. It's not necessarily the case. So what I want to start doing is playing as many games as I can on Friday, because I always have my best run. Like my first sort of 20 to 30 games are always the best for me. So I want to try and get in more games in that period of time, and hopefully start picking up more wins. And if I fail, I fail. If I try and get in like 40 games by Saturday afternoon and I end up going 26 and 14, at least I'll know, you know what I mean? Like I'm okay to take a few bad weeks here or there to try and find the perfect balance for me. I'm not looking to go, I'm looking to go 40-0. Like if I can ever do it, I don't know if I'll ever be able to bring it out, but if I can, that'd be fantastic. But I want to give myself every possible advantage to do so, and if that means playing my games early or playing my games late, or not playing in a Saturday and playing with a specific formation or a specific player, then I will do whatever is required to give myself the best opportunity to win as many games as possible. So that is my opinion on that. Adan Nur says, I am a poor FIFA player. Please go into depth how I can make money without playing matches. This entire series is exactly what you're looking for. I take you through trading tips, investment tips, bronze pack method. Literally, just like one of the biggest ways to make coins is by playing the game. Whether it's divisions or FUT draft or the daily knockout tournaments or FUT champs. Even if you're bad at FIFA, you can just make coins by playing the game. You might not make them at the rate of somebody who's good at FIFA makes them, but you will make coins. I gave a huge investment tip a couple weeks back, maybe 3 weeks ago, to pick up 83 and 84 rated players. Everyone that did make an absolute killing. I'm an advocate of bronze pack method. And this weekend, you saw in the last video, I literally made like 240,000 coins profit from all the bronze packs that I'd opened. And I'd managed to pick up like a whole bunch of fitness cards and injury cards and a whole bunch more players that were sellable. And I didn't even scratch the surface of my club. I sold 10% of my players for 300,000 coins, and they were all bronze. So there are plenty of ways to make coins. It looks like you're a bad player, or you self-confessed bad player, and you're looking on how to make coins as if having coins and having a good team is going to make you a good player, but that's not going to make you a good player. Having a good team doesn't make you a good player. Being a good player is what makes you a good player. The team obviously is relevant. It's not, and this is why I think people get confused with what I say, because I understand why they get confused with how I say it, but player skill is the primary factor, and the team is the secondary factor. I'm not trying to say that team is not relevant, but I don't think it is as relevant as people make out, especially due to the fact that there are so many super players for super cheap. Hector Bellerin, Chris Smalling, Eric Bailly, Luke Shaw, Jack Butland. That defence straight away, that's like a maximum of like 30,000 coins, and it is a defence that you can easily get to Elite 2 with FUT champs, just because it's an overpowered defence. You then look into the midfield, you've got Renato Sanchez, N'Golo Kante, Moussa Dembele. Obviously you can't use Renato Sanchez in a BPL team, but there are plenty other players in there that you can pop in there for super cheap that will do a great job for you. And then up front, you've got Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Loic Remy, Theo Walcott, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Sadio Mane. Again, a whole bunch of just super OP players that are dead cheap that will carry you through games if you're a good player. And if you're not a good player, doesn't matter if you have those players or if you have Team of the Year Ronaldo or Team of the Year Messi. You're just going to lose. Like it doesn't make any difference. And that's not me saying that I'm a good player by any stretch of the imagination. I think I'm an alright player. The fact that I can get 30 wins on average consistently every week indicates that I'm a pretty good player. And when you look at the monthlies and how the rankings work, I think we figured it out to the point where I finished 160th in the world on Xbox last month. So I'm, in that sense, I'm considered one of the best players in the world, one of the best 160 players in the world. And people say to me all the time, if you went on your main account and did FUT champs, you'd get more wins. I don't think I would. I don't think the team is that important to me where a blue Ronaldo is better than my SBC Hazard. He might score an extra wonder goal here or there, but that goal might not even be the difference between a game. If I'm 3-0 up and with my team right now, or I could have won 4-0 with the super team, that extra goal doesn't make me a better player, doesn't give me an extra win, it just gives me an extra goal. It would have to be, again, super circumstantial for you to be like, tying a game at 1-1 and then hitting a goal with Ronaldo that Hazard couldn't have scored, which isn't many because Hazard's shooting is as good as Ronaldo's. Like, it's, you know, with a Hunter Kemp style, Hazard goes up to like 97 shooting or whatever. So yeah, I don't think the team is really like that important personally. You know, it's just my opinion. I know people disagree with my opinion. I know people have their own opinions. I know people love to believe in scripting, handicap, and momentum. I personally don't. You know, I don't believe it's there. I don't believe it exists. I don't want to believe it exists either. I don't want to believe that EA are purposely out to target people. A lot of people say, you know, like literally people say, oh, if you have that team, you should win games. But then on the other hand, they say handicap exists. Well, how, like, you can't have both. Do you know what I mean? You can't have handicap in a game, but then also expect people to win with a super team. And that, like, I don't think people even understand what they mean. They literally argue their own narrative for scripting, handicap, and momentum. If they come up against a super team and they lose, oh, of course I lost. That guy's got an amazing team. If they come up against a super team and win, handicap got him that game. Like you can't have it always. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same thing. Like, people say, oh, EA try and balance the scales a little bit to encourage people to part with their money. But how does balancing the scales of a high-rated team encourage people to part with their money? If anything, that would discourage people to part with their money. Because what you're saying is, if you go and buy a 99 Ronaldo, if you spend, you know, thousands of pounds through Team of the Year, or any money that you saved up to try and buy some FIFA points to try and get that blue Ronaldo, all your money you're parting with to try and get this player who's you know 99 rated and should be amazing, and then someone says to you, oh yeah, but if you play with him, he'll get nerfed. Well, why the bloody hell would you spend your money then? What, who's spending their money on these players if they're getting nerfed? What kind of logic is that from the people that try and promote handicap to say, oh, EA want to balance it so that people open packs? How does that make people open packs? If anything, that would deter people from opening packs, because getting better players doesn't help you. If anything, that would cause everyone to use like a 20k cheap OP team only, because if that's what is effective, that's what they'll use. I don't get people's logic in saying EA are only about the money, and so they try and reduce the ability to make the bad players win. That isn't how it works. If anything, they would make the good players even better, so that people are like, holy crap, that 99 Ronaldo can score every shot from the halfway line. I need him in my life. Let me spend some money. I don't know, man. Like, that's my opinion. I don't get people's logic that try and think that EA are out to get them. I just think that there's problems in the game. I think there's bugs in the game. I think there's issues in the game. I think there's patterns in the game. You know, there's a lot of patterns in the game that constantly get me. I can tell, and this is something that I read a comment as well, and I decided to like not bring the comment up, but it's true, but it's true to a point where it's not scripting or handicap, again, in my opinion. And that's that sometimes you can tell when you're going to concede. And even now, I can tell when I'm going to concede. And I can tell at times when I'm going to score. And that's because there are certain patterns that happen within the game that just result in goals. Like, if somebody hits you with a triangle pass on the outside of the field, what happens is one of your defenders steps over. So when that defender steps over, it leaves a gap in the middle. So when that pattern happens, you're already conditioned to know that this leads to a goal. So you're going to say to yourself, I'm about to concede here and I can't stop it. And you concede and you're like, I knew it. I knew this game was against me. It doesn't mean the game's against you. It just means your opponent has played the AI to the point where he's found the space and scored the goal. And that's not your fault necessarily. It's not your fault per se, because there is pretty much nothing you can do about it, because you can only control one person at the time, right? But it's also not the game screwing you. It's just your opponent outplaying the AI. Because what you've got to remember, and this is something that I'm trying to remember myself each week and trying to condition myself to understand each week, is that you're not against the player that you're against, especially when you're in possession of the ball, because they can only control one player, right? There's really limited things that they can do and that you can do when you don't have the ball. All you can do is take one player and maneuver them in the field. And if you choose a defender and you make the wrong decision with that defender, you have cost yourself. If you get a centre back and put a slide tackle in and you miss that, you now don't have one centre back. So you are you are instantly in a worse position because of your mistake. So what happens is people don't control their defenders much, or at least the best players in my experience they don't really control their defenders too much. They usually use midfielders and attackers to track back to try and win the ball back and let the AI control the defence. So what that breaks down to, and this for me is why AA is so good at FIFA, because of how much career mode he played and how good he is against the AI, is when you're in possession of the ball, you're not playing against that dude on the controller sticks. You're playing against the AI. You're playing against how good is his AI in this instance. And if you know and understand how to break the AI down, you will be far more successful than somebody who doesn't understand that. Even if they're a better player in possession of the ball, it doesn't make any difference if they're not very good at actually breaking the AI down. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So yeah. I know this come from the guy saying that he's a bad player and how does he make more money without playing matches, and that's because it stemmed from the fact that I think he thinks that by having more coins will mean he gets a better team, will make him a better player, but that doesn't make him a better player. To test if you're a good player, honestly, just go and pick up Arsenal or Man United or Real Madrid or Barcelona, a super team in the game. Go and play against a League 2, go and play against like Wrexham or something, right? On the highest difficulty in AI, and watch them smash you to bits, because it's so bloody difficult to play against them. At the point in time where you're able to consistently beat the AI on the most difficult difficulty, you will find yourself a much better player on online play, because you're able to beat your opponent's AI when he's only controlling 1 of 10 players. He can't do much, he can only control 1 of them. So you're essentially, when you're in possession, you're playing against the AI, and then when he's in possession, you're now playing against him. So you have to control your AI and do what benefits you the most to essentially like break him down and get the ball back. You got to remember, you're always going to have turns in FIFA. You're always going to have the ball for any reason. Even if you're losing 1-0 or 2-0, even if you're getting smashed, you're going to get the ball. You're going to get possession at some point or another. You've just got to make the most of the times that you have possession. And that's why some people lose games after having 60% possession and 20 shots against the dude who's had 40% possession and 2 shots, simply because this dude has made the most of the times he's had the ball. And ultimately it will come down to either just really bad luck or you just playing very bad. There are games where you'll have clean-cut opportunities and you'll just miss them, or the keeper will make super saves. But that's not the game out to get you. That's just happenstance in the game. There are many times that happens for you. There are many times that happens against you. It just matters on the circumstance. Like if you're 4-0 up and then you concede an AIDSy goal, you don't think twice about it. You literally don't bat an eyelid to it. You're like, okay, 4-1. Now let me go and play, carry on playing. Maybe you score another. Maybe you concede another. The game finishes. You win the game. You forget about that. You move on to the next game. If it's 0-0 and you concede an AIDSy goal, you're like, oh my god, EA, they're out to get me. They want to ruin my life. How? But like they can't. Like you make subs in a game and it disconnects your opponent. Yet people think that they can perfectly interpret a way to benefit someone, one player or another, on a whim, without fail. It just baffles me how people think it could be a thing. Honestly, it baffles me. Anyway, I've talked about it way too much. Amir Meligi, another comment pro, I guess, says, hey Nepo, do you think if someone gets a winter upgrade, his ones to watch card will also be upgraded? As when they got released, it said one to watch are only affected by the league game performances. Interested to know. The upgrades are also only based off of league game performances. So the answer to your question is yes. If the inform, because the one to watch follows the highest rated inform, right? So if an inform of a one to watch card gets upgraded, the one to watch card must go and match that. So the one to watch will get upgraded as well. So for example, if Paul Pogba gets upgraded from an 88 to an 89, that means his 89 inform goes to a 90, his 90 inform goes to a 91, and with that his one to watch card will go and match the stats of the 91, because the one to watch cards are equivalent to the rating of the best inform of that player. So yes, if a player gets upgraded and their informs also get upgraded, the one to watch card will also match the higher value of the inform. Omar Arroyo says, I think EA should bring generation cards through SBCs like Man United CR7 and Spurs Bale and other cards like Suarez and Fernando Torres at Liverpool, but make them like League SBCs with expiration on it. Yeah, sure. Why not? I wonder if they can't do something like that due to licensing reasons. But I briefly touched on it in the last video. There is so much more they can do with SBCs. And I think this is new to them. You know what I mean? They want to see what works, what doesn't work. Obviously, you know, they're still trying to figure things out. They've done a few really good SBCs. They've done a few really bad SBCs. But I'm open to more SBCs. I would love, you know, even if it's like a Ronaldo when he first joined Man United, when he would be something like an 82 rated left wing or something. Let me actually go into Foothead and see how far back Foothead tracks him. And see what his card rating was all the way back when in FIFA 10. Well, he was already a 93 rated player at Real Madrid at FIFA 10. But yeah, like, you know, like I would assume that when he was at Man United, he would be like maybe an 82 or an 83 rated player. Good pace still, you know, 90 pace, maybe 85 dribbling, 86 dribbling, maybe like 78 or 79 shooting, and then maybe like, I don't know, 70 passing, because he never used to pass back then. Still get 5-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot. It'd be like, you know, but like a lot of players we've already got, but it'd be a Man United Ronaldo. It would be great. People would be able to play with him. It would be fantastic. I want more of that. I want more of the unusual, you know. EA have got such a good opportunity to do things with SBCs, and I think that they're actually, I know they're called squad building challenges, and the term squad indicates players, but I think they're missing a trick by not doing SBCs that require kits and badges, because they could do something, for example, you know, just every Monday at 6 PM there's a kit SBC, and what this kit SBC is, it's not to get a new kit, it's to get a pack, but what it is it requires kits. So, you know, trade in 10 bronze kits for a 7.5k pack. Why not? You know what I mean? It gives value then to the kits. It gives meaning to the kits. It gives meaning to basically any item that's in the game that doesn't have much worth. That's what they need to be gearing SBCs towards. For example, Hunter Chem styles are basically extinct. They're going for 5k. It's obscene that you could buy a player for 2,000 coins, and then to get the best out of him, you have to spend another 5,000 coins. You have to spend literally 300% of the player, or 250% of the player, to get the best out of him after buying the player. And of course you might get lucky and buy him with a Hunter card, or you might want a Hawk card. But why not have just you know how the upgradable SBCs are there, and they're there for untradables? Why not have an SBC, and again, I know it's called a squad builder challenge, and we're talking about not squads per se, but have an SBC where you trade in 20 chemistry styles for a Hunter chemistry style that's untradeable. So you can't even sell it. You can't even make the 5,000 coins for it, but it gives worth to your garbage chem styles. I've got so many chem styles in the club, like snipers, they sell for 200. Backbone sells for 200. There's so many of them, like the Guardian. Who really cares about defending and dribbling? I interestingly use one, but if they don't sell. Like if you listed 100 Guardians up, maybe one of them would sell for 150 coins. So give us reason to use these cards to give us something back that's not going to affect the market. You know, I could trade all my crappy chem styles in, boom, get an untradeable Hunter card. You know, make it difficult, make it 20, make it 30, you know, make it so it's valuable. Like if the chem styles are worth a minimum of 200 coins each, do 30 chem styles for a Hunter card. So you've got to give up potentially 6,000 coins worth of chem styles for a Hunter card that's worth 5,000 coins that isn't even tradable. Boom, problem solved. Also for fitness, why not just have, like, you know, trade in 11 fitness cards for a squad fitness card? So if you've got 11 bronze plus 20 fitnesses, boom, you trade them all in, you get an untradeable squad fitness card. It's just easier than having to apply an individual fitness card 11 times that only covers 11 players, when then you could trade it in for a squad one and you can boost your whole squad. Problem solved. Like, there is so much more they can do to really aid the user and aid the efficiency of what you can get out of the club, you know. And again, there are so many things like that are in the game that are just unusable, like the left wing back to left back position modifier. It just does not sell. It does. You are literally better off discarding it than selling it, because it just doesn't sell. Why not have a squad builder challenge that requires you to give up 10 different individual position modifiers, and the reward is a position modifier of your choice that is, again, untradeable, just to stop people from, like, abusing it and selling, you know, like basically just by buying loads and loads of the 150 ones and then trading it to the centre forward to Cam and selling it for 3k or whatever. Like, stop the market manipulation by making them untradeable. Problem solved. But yeah, ultimately, I think there's a lot more they can do with SBCs. A lot more. And one of the big things I'd love to see is, like, you know, again, like, trade 10 stadiums and get an untradeable 7.5k pack. Simple, gives value to the stadiums. doesn't cost EA anything, like doesn't really affect the market much. If anything, it helps the market because it makes stadiums have some kind of value, because if everyone's trading them in constantly, eventually you're going to have a point where there's actually limit, like the demand meets the supply, which is exactly how the market should work. But anyway, that's just my opinion. What do I know? Next comment is from James. It says, love the daily Road to Glory content. Cheers. Appreciate that, James. Tim De Jong says, last week I've got gold 3, but this weekend isn't the weekend league. Am I qualified for next weekend? Yes. And the rewards are already out. If you didn't know, you probably knew. So when you go and claim them now, you'll be automatically qualified for next weekend league. If you were already automatically qualified for this weekend league through divisions or through daily knockouts, you are now also automatically qualified for the next weekend league. And if you never qualified in the first place, you're still not qualified. So go get it done. Plenty of opportunities this week. Roberto Firmino says, Nepo, what are your thoughts that there's no weekend league this weekend? Cheers. Good move from EA. Yeah, smart move. You know, these bugs, these glitches, these you know, manipulations of the game, they are literally game breaking. You know, there are certain things in the game where there are bugs, there are issues which aren't game breaking, but they do affect the game. But this one is game breaking. You know, as I said, explained in a previous video, it could be a condition where everyone could go 40-0 or everyone could go 0-40, and FUT Champs is supposed to air towards competitive play, and you know this is January, so that people are playing for position in regionals right now, and they just couldn't let it happen. I absolutely agree with the fact that they disabled weekend league this weekend. It's interesting to me that they actually remained matchmaking on draft, because it's also applicable in draft, and what you're going to see is a lot of people cheating their way through the draft. But hey, again, what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. Mode Lad says, does Alex Hunter come as a winger on Ultimate Team if you choose him as a winger on the journey? Yes, he does. Zin Vivo says, hey Nep, do you think PK would be good at CDM? I don't necessarily think he'd be bad at CDM. I just don't think there's any reason to play him at CDM when there are ample amounts of good CDMs that will fit in that position for you. Hammer Gida says, NepentheZ, please make a video about Pack Stripes glitch. Firstly, no, I would never make a video about something like that anyway, not like a dedicated video. I'd definitely talk about it in the video, but also it's just nonsense. The stripes there are just, somebody explained it on Reddit, it's literally just to do with how the game draws certain images, and it's just literally just a bug in the coding, right? The way packs work, the pack doesn't have contents in it until you hit the button to send the request to the server. Once you send the request to the server, it gathers the information to give you the pack. So you can't like keep backing out and going in and saying, okay, now I've got certain stripes on my pack, I'm guaranteed to get a good player, because it's just not how it works. And some people are going to say, yeah, but I waited until I got that stripe and then I opened it and I got a really good player. Yeah, because you were opening like 100k packs and 125k packs and stuff. Like, you're bound to get a good player in a good pack like that. Then somebody did a test where they opened 10 of them on the best stripe and they got garbage 10 times. It's nonsense. It doesn't exist, dude. It's not real. Don't believe the hype. It's not real. You're just going to end up wasting coins on, or wasting time, basically. Omar Harpak says, Nep, do you use a fidget cube? No, I actually want to get the fidget cube. As you could probably tell by my mannerisms in videos and the fact that I've constantly got things in my hands and stuff and I'm always playing with things, I fidget a lot. I really do. And I like not tap money, but I like, you know, rock money constantly. I'm constantly moving. Constantly, like I say, I don't have anything in my hands right now, and the reason why I don't need anything in my hands right now is because you can probably see on my thumb right there, I basically slipped my thumb when I was helping my daughter open her birthday presents the other day. Ripped a box and it just slipped my thumb, so I'm literally just fiddling with the ripped skin on my thumb. That's that. So I'm always fidgeting, always playing around with one thing or another. Deacon Norman says, Nep, why are you complaining about the no loss glitch when you technically made a video about it with the loyalty glitch? Like, if you agree. No one liked this comment, but I just wanted to correct people's misinterpretation of that. The loyalty glitch is not the no loss nor the forced disconnect glitch. It doesn't work online and it doesn't affect anything in the game. The only thing it changes is how many games your players played and gives them loyalty. It doesn't actually change the game in any way, shape or form. The loyalty glitch is against the AI. It even costs you money because you have to apply 10 contracts to all your players that you're going to turn into an SBC. And it doesn't affect anybody anyway. So yeah, there is. I'm not complaining about the no loss glitch when I've made the loyalty glitch. Like the no loss glitch and the forced DC glitch are game breaking glitches Whereas the loyalty glitch is not a game-breaking glitch. It doesn't affect anything at any point. And then last but not least, you can see there my pack, guys, was absolutely garbage. Dan Sriv says, if you use 300 bronze cards per weekend, that's a minimum of 45,000 coins extra you could make each weekend league. I know you've explained it before, but just make a second team, dude. It's actually a maximum of 45,000 coins before tax. Or, well, no, you're doing it 150 coins, but that's without tax as well. But I see your point, but it's not like I would make those 45,000 coins. Like, it's about what it would cost if I used the second team. And if I used the second team and got gold 1 instead of elite 2, the difference of those, because I'm changing teams so much, is 50,000 coins prize, let alone the packs. Bang, there's your 45k made straight away. I like to do it my way. If you want to sell your bronze fitness cards, go ahead and sell your bronze fitness cards. No one's stopping you. I like to do it my way because I feel like this is the best way to get the most efficiency and the best ability out of my team. Anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy this, be sure to leave a like and comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.